My name is Anna, or Anya Wick, changed from Anna Petrova when I was briefly married, changed from Owen Theodore Epstein when I transitioned back to female, changed from my birth name, Anya Beth Epstein, when I transitioned from female to male. I'll come back to that later. I want to talk about Justin, Diddy, and Blink Twice as conversations I've been seeing relate to my personal experiences. These are experiences I've been wanting to speak on for a while now, and I've been pretty terrified of retaliation like my uncle faced, or repercussions of general disbelief, but it doesn't matter. When I spoke to the FBI a couple of years ago, they interviewed my perpetrators, who, of course, denied their actions, and the case was dropped. I'm tired of it weighing on me. It's had me sick, and these conversations are happening right now. So, I believe that Justin was passed around, that it's perfectly normal in the industry. I believe Diddy's guilty, and that he is maybe being a scapegoat of sorts to keep attention away from the bigger picture. And I think that Blink Twice is a metaphor for human trafficking that is actually aided by LSD. I know they did MDMA in the film, but like the perfume that makes people forget, the venom that helps them remember, it's all very parallel to the effects that LSD alone had on me while I was growing up getting passed around at orgies as a sex slave. I had amnesia, like a split mind for the majority of my life. That was the point of the acid. Everything that I experienced on it was blocked out completely. And I only remembered the circumstances I was trapped in when the drug had already kicked in. So what happened is my family would dose me and rape me with their friends and relatives. Always, by the time I was high, it was impossible for me to run. And by the time the drug wore off, I would have forgotten everything. Now, this started in infancy and slowed down and finally stopped when I began taking testosterone in 2015. I had to de-sex myself. My memories began resurfacing and finally sticking in 2020, at which point my healing started to begin. Sometimes it was just my father. Usually it was both my parents and my brothers at an isolated cabin they had purchased. Often it was with the extended family we had in town, and sometimes it was at these massive parties on vacation. I would be told we were going to a family reunion or one of my father's work functions. They would give me something special to drink. I'd get ogled by a bunch of old men, sometimes introduced to various people as my siblings. I would initially enjoy myself, kind of. And then I recognized the effects on my body that were so familiar. Memories would start to come back, and the horror set in before I'd get raped. I'd usually be mostly unconscious for these assaults and not come to until we had left the affair or just the morning after packing up. Why do I bring Hollywood into this? At the orgy I remember best, at Aspen in late spring of 2007, I was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Larry David as my uncles before the assaults began. When I came to, rope bound in a hotel room at the lodge, Larry was still orally penetrating me. My mother apologized to him, told him he had to stop. He complimented her for how well she trained me. I couldn't move or scream, and she mocked me for trying. There are several other people I've met throughout my life But that is the event I remember most clearly, which takes me back to Justin and Blink Twice and gossip about this happening in Hollywood. It is my wish for the public to become aware of what has been happening right in front of their faces, and for children today to become freed from the abuse that I believe they are still experiencing. I can go more in depth on my story, but it isn't about me. Violent abusers are being lauded as public figures and gifted fortunes and power. And while my past remains secret, whether or not anyone will ever verify it, I cannot feel at peace with myself. I'll answer questions anyone may have if anyone pays attention to this. And thank you for watching and listening.